right, on this episode of the Fit Rockstar Show, we have the most interesting woman in the world. She's the Angelina Jolie of wellness. She's a top Olympian. She is Dr. Sunny Andrews.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Thank you so much for coming all the way out from Florida, right?
Yes, Jacksonville.
Jacksonville.
Yeah.
What's it like there?
It's a little bit country.
Yeah, I'm from Orlando originally, but
Okay.
Jacksonville, it's a small city, right?
It's geographically the biggest city in the U.S.,
Is it?
but the population isn't that big. It's so spread out.
Huh.
It's kind of like
know.
South Georgia,
Okay.
more than Florida.
Yeah, you're only 2 hours away from Savannah,
Yeah.
which I love Savannah. So I gotta ask,
Mm-hmm.
how did you get into the sport?
So I was living in the Caribbean. I was going to medical school there. And I used to be a long distance runner and would go outside for runs. It was way too hot to do that. So I was running in the treadmill inside, and the Caribbean women had these voluptuous physiques and were lifting crazy amounts of weight. And actually, I saw them doing hip thrusts, and I'd never seen that exercise before. And I was like, man, I want to do that. That looks more fun than going outside or running on a treadmill. And I would kind of follow them around the gym and see what exercises they were doing.
Oh, wow.
And then went on bodybuilding.com and looked up which exercises to do for lower body, rated by like 10 out of 10, and go through them. And after I did that, it was just pretty much love at first sight.
Are your parents, were they fit? Do they work out?
Both my parents played sports,
Okay.
like in college and stuff like that. And I remember going to the gym with my mom when I was a kid, but we always stayed active. We did boating and stuff like that.
Oh, boating! Wow.
Yeah.
Now, so you're also a captain of the boat. You can drive the boat.
Yeah, actually in St. Martin, I had a dinghy that I would drive to class.
A dinghy? Is that what they call the boats? A dinghy?
It's like a inflatable boat. It was like a 12-foot inflatable boat.
So you would drive this to class in your little dinghy?
Yeah, they had a marina at the medical school I went to, and it was faster than trying to drive all the way around the island, and there was so much traffic.
So what is the medical school down there? Because I actually had a buddy of mine who also went to St. Martin for studies with the medical school.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
We probably went to the same school. So it's an American accredited medical school. So you take the same board exams. You go down there for the first 2 years of medical school, and you're in the classroom just like you would be here, except instead of being in Michigan, where I'm from, I decided to go there and do the first 2 years. And then for clinical rotations, you come back to the U.S. and you rotate at hospitals here. So
Now, you're from Canada originally,
Yeah.
right? And I'm going to guess, maybe I read this, Greek?
I am Greek. Yes.
Wow. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Where are your family from in Greece?
My mom is Cypriot, so she's from an island that's pretty far to the east,
Wow.
right near Lebanon. And then my dad's family is from Athens.
And you lived in Michigan.
Yes, I was born in Windsor, South Ontario, and then moved to Michigan when I was 15. And then,
That's cold up there.
yeah, it was really cold. After I moved to the Caribbean, I was like, nope.
And then you went to college in Michigan too, right?
Yeah,
So
I
is
went to
that
Michigan State.
What's their mascot?
The Spartans. I was like, this is appropriate.
Right.
Yeah,
So you got into the lifting in St. Martin.
yeah.
And then when did you decide I'm gonna do a show?
Oh, that was some years down the road. So I started lifting in about 2014, and after I had no type of inclination to compete. I had no idea really about bodybuilding shows, and then I moved back to the U.S. and every time I'd go to the gym, people would stop me and say, "How many weeks out are you?" or "What show are you doing?" And I was like, I had no clue what they were talking about. So the first time I did a show was in 2018 with a different federation,
Right.
the WBFF.
Yeah.
And that was because I didn't even have Instagram at the time. I made an Instagram 2018, got online, and the very first thing I saw was, oh, this is a show we have coming up. And I was like, oh, I'll fly to LA and compete, get my pro card in one show. And
Wow.
yeah, so it was fun, but it wasn't really, it was more modeling. They have it more like that.
Yeah,
than
because the suits are very gaudy, aren't they? Jewels and feathers.
ostentatious. Yeah,
It's
they're
beautiful.
some are, yeah, but it distracts from the physique sometimes, I think, and especially being 5'1" like I am, some of the costumes really cover your hard work, but you're only the criteria 20% of your score is your physique.
Right.
So the other 80% is whatever they want, and for me, if I was working so hard on my physique, then I was like, I wanted to be much more than 20%.
Oh, listen, you're in the best organization in the world. You have
Oh,
to be pro
yeah.
league, so.
Well, then I mean, after just a little bit of research, I quickly was like, oh, I want to compete in IFBB. This is what I want to do, an NPC show after they got wellness.
Sure.
I was like, NPC show, IFBB, that's the best. Like, there's no questions asked.
What was your first NPC show?
In Daytona.
Of course. Yeah, you got to do
Yeah, that was such a great show. Really good memories. It was, what was it? September of 2020 was my first NPC show. And then I competed at nationals after that in Orlando.
Right. Yeah. My hometown. Now, when you did your first Olympia, what was that like?
Oh, it was surreal. Everyone was so excited for wellness to get on stage, and backstage it was just the best energy. Everyone was so excited. I love all of the wellness competitors. We were all everyone was so nice to each other, and it was the same at the Arnold too, but at Olympia it was just we knew we were making history. So it was just, I get chills just thinking about it. It was so exciting. And then being at Andrews, getting on stage, I'm always first.
Oh.
So I get on there and it's just seeing the crowd roar. And we weren't even on the big stage and it was out of control.
Oh,
I've never been in a situation like that before.
listen, wellness is where it's at. There were so many people there.
Yeah.
I remember that. Everybody's going nuts.
It was crazy. I found my dad in the crowd, but it was really cool.
So how do you define wellness? What does wellness mean to you?
Wellness as a category, as a lifestyle, to me, is building your lower body. And I used to train upper body really hard, and I never felt good. Like, my back always hurt, and I kind of had shoulder problems and stuff like that. So when I got to switch to wellness and really train how I wanted to complement my physiques and play on my strengths, I felt literally more well. So that was great. But also, I really like that it's not such a shredded, crazy look, because I don't have to do these extreme dieting, extreme cardio, and I can sustain my lifestyle while I do other things. So it's a cool category because you don't really have to damage your metabolism and do all these crazy things to have your best look. Actually, it's discouraged. So I like it a lot.
Well, I know you've talked about this in many interviews, but to me, what was fascinating with you, you're a doctor, and you are, so you work in a hospital. Tell me exactly where, right?
So I did surgery residency in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
And this past year, because I was competing at Olympia, I applied for a research fellowship.
Oh, wow.
And I'm still doing that. Luckily, a lot of it's remote. Thank God for COVID sometimes,
Right.
So I have a VPN and can just
Wow.
get on my laptop and write my manuscripts and stuff like that.
That's great.
Yeah, it's worked out. I was really lucky I got the position. But that's done in July, so I'll have a year of that, and then I'll have that fellowship done. And then from there, I'm trying to decide if I'm going to do another training fellowship or if I'm going to try and do concierge medicine full time, that kind of thing.
I heard, again, just researching on you, you have more, don't you have a little bit more degrees under your belt besides doctor? I thought something for anthropology.
Yeah, well, that's my undergrad degree.
Yeah. What else do you have?
So in undergrad, I studied anthropology. I double majored in anthropology and fashion design.
Oh, wow.
That was kind of my, I always loved just art and design and drawing and painting. So I really kind of wanted to be a fashion designer. But after I was saving up money to move to New York and
Parsons?
to
Or the Fashion Institute of Technology?
No, it's in Michigan State.
Oh.
Yeah, it's actually textile and design. They don't even call it fashion design there. So it wasn't like it wasn't the best program in the country. But I was trying to go to do an internship. Started working in a doctor's office, and saw how fulfilled the doctors were. And I was like, this might be for me more than I can always enjoy fashion or do that maybe down the line. But it totally grasped my attention, and I was like, switched gears and enrolled in a master's program and that was my other degree. I have a master's in nutrition, biomedical science. So
Hence why you look so great.
it helps a lot.
Yeah.
It helps a lot. Knowledge is definitely powerful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a very, very interesting person. And what's even more interesting is, so going back to the doctor thing, you worked 24-hour shift before you competed? What show is this?
That was when I won my pro card at nationals.
So this was the night before your pro card?
So I was on trauma surgery, and the only way that I could get 2 days off in a row is if I worked a 24-hour shift, because I'd be post-call one day and then I'd have the next day off.
Wow.
So I got in there at 5 a.m. on one day, and then got off at 6 a.m. the next day, and then drove from, I'm trying to remember how this all went, drove from the hospital to Orlando, got there, and then got my hair and makeup done, my tan done, and then as they're calling my category was, my hair was half, you could even see on NPC News Online, my hair is half curled in the
Oh my
prejudging
gosh.
photos.
Wow.
But made it online. Gary Udick was like, come on, you're first in
Right,
line. I have
right.
running, sprinting
Oh,
with my
wow.
heels in my hand through the crowd to try and get on stage, but it was so worth it.
Heck yeah, it was
Well,
worth it.
But yeah, I went and crashed until finals. I was super tired. We'll never do that again if I
That is
can afford
one
it.
story to tell.
Yeah.
How many people can do that, you know?
I think if you want something bad enough, you can make it happen. You know, I think it's just a matter of just doing it. I didn't put too much thought into it.
So for the Arnold this past year, you did your own diet.
Yeah, that's true.
What is a day in the life of Dr. Sunny Andrews? How does a diet work? What is your diet like?
So going into the Arnold, I had conditioning that I came off of from my last show at the end of November. So it was really December, I went into a surplus. January, I still stayed. Some days were surplus on lower body days and maintenance days on my upper body. And then as I went into February, I was in deficit on upper body and off days, and then maintenance on lower body days. And really went into peak week with, I think, 1,700 calories for my lower body days. And I cut it off and then stayed around 1,500 for the peak week. So it was...
That's not bad, actually.
It wasn't bad.
No.
It was lower than I had wanted. So it was kind of lower than I had done before. But then after the Arnold, my body just responded way better. And my conditioning came in more like I wanted. And I may have been too hard because they don't really want that. But it was just after my calories went up, my conditioning got better. So then after this past month, I've been just trying to play around with what I'm gonna do next and stuff like that.
Well, there's a lot of things that I can say that you can do next, but you know, listen, I'm going to be really upfront and honest with you, and that's the way I like to keep it. You have a very phenomenal physique, and I'm sure you hear this all the time. But I look at your pictures. I'm zooming in. I'm like, oh my God, your waist, the way your curves, the flow that you have is beautiful. Pretty much, in my opinion, doesn't matter what anybody else thinks, but I think you have one of the most complete wellness packages put together.
Thank you so much.
I really do.
I appreciate that.
And you said you have your sister competes in wellness who just won the St. Louis Pro Jack and Antone show.
Yes.
Marissa Andrews?
Yes. Yep. Congrats to her.
Yeah, congrats. Which means that your sister is going to be on the stage with you at the Olympia.
Yes.
And I don't think, I could be wrong, and JM can correct me on this, but I don't think we've ever had two siblings competing in the same division at the Olympia.
I don't know. We've researched it. I haven't found anyone else.
I don't think so.
Definitely not in wellness.
Yeah. So that's
Being the
history
second
being
year.
made, you know? Again, it's just really, that's really cool. Do you think your sister's going to come close to you?
We have similar physiques. So it's all, and it's...
Yeah, but your stomach, like, how do you do it with these photos? You take the perfect photos. Your stomach is so flat, and it has that beautiful curve, and just, oh my God.
Thank
Some
you.
girls would die to have that, you know? I see you have that massage. Does that help?
I had that done twice for the video. And
It looks painful.
And yeah, the one time she said, oh, your diaphragm there is attached to I'm like, your diaphragm's supposed to be attached there. But she said there was scar tissue, and she's just started doing that, and I thought that'd be a cool video. But to say that I get that done I wish I got it done more regularly.
It just looks
but
painful.
It didn't feel good.
Yeah.
She's an excellent massage therapist, but when she breaks up that scar tissue, wherever I have it, it does hurt.
Mm-hmm.
But specifically with my abs, like she just did that, I think, once or twice, and it ended up having lasting effects.
Do you find that intense massage therapy helps break up the scar tissue and also defines the muscles more?
Absolutely. I actually had a really hard time doing my side pose on my one side. And it was because I had this, I think it was scar tissue or some type of muscle that was just pulling on this one side, and I couldn't pose very well on that one side up until peak week of the Arnold. Even at the Olympia, I just really couldn't do it very well. And I could just, it was like night and day. One time I just had worked on it, and it was like I could just turn right.
People always ask how I got here. I was willing to work just a little harder than everyone else. Every damn day. If I can have hundreds of hours back, you know I'm gonna grab them. Spending hours prepping chicken, rice, and vegetables, F that. I rely on perfect nutrition. I rely on trifecta.
So, and I had tried everything. So it was a game changer for sure.
So until you had that done, everything was
Yeah, I think the massage therapist got like underneath my scapula, and I could finally feel this knot that I had not been, and it was crazy. It was extremely painful, but I felt so much better after.
So how many other siblings do you have in your family?
I have a brother, and he's in medical school.
Oh, wow.
He's in his 4th year, and then I have my sister, Marissa.
Now you're the oldest?
I'm the oldest, yeah.
Okay. What are your parents like? Was it your father that I saw? Was that I met or something? I met one.
Yeah, my dad has been to quite a bit of shows. My mom came to the Arnold, and that was so cool because that was the first time she had been to IFBB show.
What did she think of it?
I think she had mixed emotions. My mom was very conservative, so she was kind of, I think she's still uncomfortable with seeing my sister and I have our butts in like a thong type apparatus,
Does she like want to come up and cover you with a towel or something?
Yeah, so she doesn't like that. But when I saw her in the crowd at prejudging and she's going like this to me and cheering my name, it was the best. Didn't matter who else was there. It was so cool to see her smiling back at me. But my parents, they're very, very supportive, very involved in our lives. They're they're really cool people. I'm really lucky to have them.
We are very lucky to have you in the organization. And I don't know what your plans are, if you've done this or not, but I really feel, because you're such a big influencer, a lot of people look up to you. Really, you're so positive. You have a lot of fun posts, and look, you're saving animals, which we'll get into that in a minute. But I would love to see a video series of you educating our people in the industry about their health, their nutrition.
Yeah.
Because as you know, and I won't go into it, but we're getting a bit of a bad light. And I think there needs to be some sunshine put in. And, because I don't think people are getting the right message.
I agree. And this was 3 years ago, I was doing research, and I was trying my very hardest to have this research published that a bodybuilding lifestyle coupled with nutrition that is having you eat every 3 to 4 hours can help people overcome eating disorders. And the people I was working with, and I swore by it. We had a study. I was trying to formulate a clinical trial, and the people I was working with were just like, this is going to make people think that competing is what you're saying is healthy for people, and that they're like, that's not necessarily dieting until you're that thin isn't necessarily the right message. So they basically ended up denying the grant to do the research, which made me really frustrated because I do think, I stand by this, I think a bodybuilding lifestyle where you eat frequently and you train muscles and you want to repair yourself can really have people that have undernourished themselves repair that relationship with food and their body. And I'm not going to give up on it because I really am a strong believer that can help people with eating disorders.
Do you also feel too that it could help maybe with depression?
Oh, absolutely.
And health illnesses as well?
There's a lot of studies that show that antidepressants cause long-term, after 2 months, they can increase your serotonin levels. However, if you work out, the same amount of serotonin can be produced in a much shorter amount of time and have lasting effects without the side effects. Obviously, there's going to be side effects from working out if you get injured and that kind of stuff. And people will always try and correct something if I say that. But from my point of view, working out should always be used first before trying to jump to medication.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's sad because most people, they jump right into the medication.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you were to eat right, train, you could save yourself money and not be on a medication, because then people get dependent on it, I'm assuming. Yeah, I'm sure you see lots of things.
Definitely.
Yeah. What do so we've been in a hospital and people seen you obviously work out.
Mm-hmm.
What do they say to you?
Patients are pretty respectful. I usually try and be cover myself up in the hospital, but from time to time I'll get a compliment. Oh, you work out, or nice arms, or stuff like that. I would frequently wear ankle weights underneath my scrubs so that I could
Get a workout.
yeah,
in?
get a little workout in. And a lot of the people I worked with, a lot of fit nurses specifically, caught on to that, and a lot of people in the hospital started wearing ankle weights. So I thought that was super cool.
What is what's the okay? Have you ever delivered a baby?
Yes,
What was that like?
it could either be a beautiful experience, or it can turn into a surgery, or it can turn into at the end of the if it all goes well, it's a beautiful experience. But there's definitely it can be a lot that can go wrong. So
Can you name a traumatic experience that you dealt with at the hospital that you'll never forget?
Ooh. Yeah, definitely. Depends on how dark we want to get. Being in trauma surgery, there's a lot of very depressing, upsetting things, a lot of self-inflicted gunshots, and ooh.
How did
there's a lot of
how did you deal with that mentally? Because listen,
yeah.
that's hard, and I have so much respect for you, and thank you for all you do for us and saving lives, because you are truly the real superhero. I mean, look, you're a superhero with the muscles and everything, but you really are a true superhero. So thank you for that. But how do you have the mental mindset where you see someone who, say, a gunshot wound or a child that's, how do you deal with that?
So my very first day, I went into this job, and it was like, you clock in, it's 5:30 in the morning, and a patient comes in with a gunshot wound to the head and brain matter, out.
Right,
He's going to be dead in a couple minutes. And I'm just thinking to myself, oh, this guy's going to die, and I haven't even been here for like 5 minutes. I don't even know the names of anyone I'm working with.
Right.
We just got to go. Like, you have no time to think. And then that day was just one after another. And at first you see the patient pass away, and I thought to myself, like, this is so sad. Am I going to cry? And you're just like, you kind of have this derealization where it's like, you have no time, or I had no time for emotions. I had to just act. And that made me kind of numb.
Right,
And I know that that's not necessarily what you're supposed to do, but I really got good at compartmentalizing, where at work I was just like totally a machine, did not think about it, had to do what I had to do, was compassionate to the patients and their families, of course. But then on my drive home, I can't even count the amount of times that I would be driving over this bridge coming off a 24-hour shift and would just start bawling my eyes out. But then it was the only way, you had to, and I was like, I'm human. I had to do that. Because otherwise it's just like, you become so cold. And it's like, I never wanted to lose that.
So I have a confession. I went to EMT school, and I did a couple things with the fire department and whatnot. And the things I saw, it changed me.
It does.
It does. And so it was very depressing.
Yeah.
And I had to get out. Because I couldn't. Because I'm wanting to, you come up to a scene of a kid that a parent has killed.
Oh,
and
that's
trying
the
to bring it
worst.
back to life.
Yeah.
I'm wanting to take my hands and choke, you know. So I'm like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
So I got out.
But I don't blame you. There is, when you're the first to the scene, I can't even imagine. Like, you see people when they're packaged, basically. But seeing the people who are responsible and everything, oh my gosh, I can imagine the emotions you would feel.
Oh, it's insane. So look, again, I respect you for all you do. Thank you so much. You have such a kind heart, and you, again, are truly the real superhero. I don't know how you do it, but you do it, and God bless you. But moving on to you as a bodybuilder and whatnot, I want to talk about some of your videos you've posted. So you've saved animals, marine life. When you're walking on a beach and you came across the shark, scared the hell out of me.
Yeah.
What was that, a lemon shark?
I thought it was a lemon shark. It was a black tip shark. I was corrected by
Oh
some
my
people who
gosh.
know their sharks better than I do.
Right.
And I'm glad it wasn't a lemon sharks. I think are endangered.
Okay.
So not that I'm glad that it was a black tip shark, but like, yeah.
I'm just glad it didn't nip you.
Yeah, me too.
That's what I was afraid of.
Me too. But after they get those hooks cut in their mouth, I mean, now that I've learned that you're just supposed to cut the line and let it swim off with it,
Sure.
you know, that's probably a lot safer
Right.
than sticking your hand in its mouth.
Well, look, you went above and beyond the manta ray. Is that what it was?
Yeah, those stingrays.
Oh my gosh. I was like, please don't.
Those are and they, if you're fishing for other types of fish, they love the same bait, so they always get caught on, and they'll rip your line off. So it's like a matter of
really?
either just you could cut your line and you're done fishing for the day, and then it's gonna have a hook in its mouth, and sometimes they swallow it and then it kills them, or you could just try and flip it over and get it out really quick. So I always try and do that.
I just wanted to let people know you have a really big heart. Again, saving animals, do what you need to do.
I love animals.
What's up with this tiki stuff you're doing? You're chopping, making stuff out of wood. How did that come about?
So those are hickory wood, a tree that was cut down, and they're carved with a chainsaw.
Right.
And
Which
you
you
can
did.
go on YouTube. Yeah,
Right.
you can go on YouTube and basically watch a video about how to do it. I have like a little sander to try and make it more refined, and then I've been spray painting them lately, and making them very colorful.
Well, Sonny, I'm going to say right now, if I went on YouTube and tried to take a piece of log or whatever and did that, it's not going to come out the way you did it. Mine will probably be like a big penis or something. Sorry. But no, that's really cool. I mean, how did you decide, you know what, I'm going to go and make a little tiki? How did that come about?
I
want to see more of those videos. Those are great.
I really like art, and I had been painting all of my gym equipment.
Oh, wow.
And wanted something else to paint that wasn't inside my house. So basically it was just, we had all this log and it was like, what are we gonna do with them? Burn them? Not really sure. So it was just kind of an experiment at first.
It's a great experiment.
Now there's about 10.
You have 10?
Yeah.
What are their names? Do you have names for all of them?
They're different Hawaiian gods.
Okay,
But
wow.
like Kanaloa, I think, is one name.
Is that the one you
but-
just recently redid the
Yeah,
paint?
yeah, that one's all
Yes.
colorful.
Yeah, that's pretty badass. And so how long
Thanks.
of time have you been doing this for?
I'm about a year and a half.
Year and a half.
Yeah.
Now, you're 25. I know it's
Sure.
30.
I'm 34.
34?
Yeah.
Get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Damn, you look good.
Thank you.
No, you look better than most of these 21-year-olds.
I appreciate that.
How do you get such a perfect physique, though? Seriously, I mean, it's perfect. The curves. I can't get over your pictures. You have the best photos
Thank you.
on Instagram. Anybody, if you haven't looked at her photos, what is your Instagram?
Dr. Sunny Andrews.
Oh my God, they're incredible. The Fit Doc, you worked with the Fit Doc Productions.
Yeah.
Speaking of you, you were actually with Dr. Morales in Houston, right?
Yeah, I got to scrub into a couple of his operations.
What was that like?
He's great.
He's cool.
He's an artist. He really is. He just
With what he
so
does?
professional. Yeah. In the OR, I mean, I just have every single move he makes is with purpose, and he's just does not miss. So when I got a lot of DMs of people asking me if I could refer them to
Right.
a good doctor of every different kind. When they ask me about a plastic surgeon, I'll refer them to him.
Yeah.
But no, he's super cool, and also is into photography.
Yes.
So I've shot with him now the day after the Arnold, and that was a fun shoot.
Well, those pictures were freaking crazy. Oh my God.
It was
There's
fun.
there's this one you have in black and white. I know it's not black and white. It looks like it's in a gym, and it's the glute shot.
Yeah.
You know which one I'm talking about? It's the perfect glute shot I have ever seen. And I'm just like, oh my God, like I'm going to put pictures of your glutes up on my refrigerator so I can be, but you're always, you're not shy. You're always posting stuff to help others with training videos and everything. And that's great. So again, are we going to see like a video vlog of you doing like more medical stuff, talking about different things and training? Because I think you can do.
I have a lot of things that are up and coming right now,
Good.
especially with Olympia being so far away. I have a lot of time to focus on some Pretty big projects I'm excited about.
I want to see you on the doctors.
Yeah. Oh, me too. That's a goal for sure.
Yeah, listen, I mean, you have a great personality, just everything. I mean, I think you can be someone, even with Dr. Morales, together, you can really make some drastic changes for the industry, I think.
Yeah.
And a positive light that we need, you know? My phone's blowing up. See, everybody's blowing me up. Oh, it's sunny. But anyway, moving on. You do all these things. I saw you snowboarding.
Yeah.
How long have you been doing that for?
Since 2014. I started snowboarding when I was in high school, but it was just like bunny hills in Michigan.
Yeah, but you're like a champ. You're just like, oh my God.
And then I started going out west in 2014, and it's like a totally different beast. You have to really know what you're doing, and you either sink or swim when
Where's
you're
your favorite place to go snowboarding?
I love Steamboat in Colorado. The snow never disappoints there.
Okay.
And it has some really fun runs that are pretty steep and lots of trees. I like that kind of stuff.
I see the trees. That's why I was watching a video the other day, and you're going through the tree. It's like you made your own trail, and I'm like, oh my God. If that was me, I would be hitting the trees. I've never tried snowboarding. It's on my bucket list, and one day I will definitely do it.
You should. It's fun.
You make it look fun. What else do you do? And hobbies that you have?
I like wakeboarding too, which is similar to snowboarding, without the trees, obviously.
You like dancing.
And I love dancing. Yeah, I'm not any type of professional dancer. I took dance classes as a kid, but
you go to concerts and stuff, though, right?
I used to DJ in undergrad and produce music. Yeah, I loved EDM. I still love EDM. So
I love EDM too.
Really?
I went to a concert or EDM in New York for my first one.
Yeah.
3 years ago.
How fun.
And it was crazy.
Yeah.
And I want to go back again, dress up and do some.
Yeah.
It's insane, these outfits.
I know. And I was really into it, I guess kind of ahead of the time that it's most popular. There wasn't as many festivals that were like they have now, I guess, with all the costumes and everything. And 2 summers I spent going with my friends and traveling around Europe, going from festival to festival, and I just really like loved it. And after, my parents were like, "Are you gonna really become a DJ? And that's what you're gonna do?" Because I had all this equipment. It was making mixes and like writing songs and stuff like that. And I was like, I don't know. I would DJ at a few places, and it was really fun.
What was your DJ name?
It was just Sunny.
DJ Sunny.
Yeah.
Is there anything you can't do?
Yeah, I need to work on my posing.
Are you kidding me? Come on. Do you do your posing yourself? Do you work with someone?
No, I've had a posing coach. I've worked with some great people, but it's definitely something I think I could be better at.
What do you think is the hardest about posing?
The hardest about posing for me, I'd say, is not trying to copy someone else. Because at first I would watch someone else and I was like, okay, I want to do it just like her. And I try so hard. I think that's another thing. When I was posing, even now, I think it's like I'm so used to trying to be like flex or try and get everything right. And it's just for wellness, it's like about flowing.
I was going to say, because you're so conditioned and your body's so perfect, you should just naturally flow. You don't even have to try.
Yeah, I have to.
I'm serious. You don't even have to. Like, I look at some of these wellness girls and you can tell they're just trying so hard. But it's like, you're just natural at it, you know.
It's a lot of practice.
Now, going on to the Olympia, I know you have Hani Rambod in your corner.
Yeah.
With Evagen. Is he doing your training and coaching or your diet?
So when I go out to shoot for Evagen, Tani and I will get a session in together, and he'll put me through a workout. And that's always a really great experience. He's got such great energy.
Is he a beast?
Yeah, he'll definitely push me. And he's a perfectionist, so he's paying attention to all of the little details in prep. Like, he had me stop chewing. From the day he told me don't chew gum anymore, I have not chewed one stick of gum.
You gotta tell me.
He was like, well, he said maybe it's causing you to be bloated. Maybe it's causing your masseters to be big.
Yeah.
And yeah, so he said there's like a whole bunch of different reasons. And like, you know, the chewing gets like air into your stomach and stuff like that.
Never chewing gum again.
So he said that to me, and I was like, okay, I'll stop. So he gives me like really great suggestions like that I probably would have done right up into show day. Because like
Right.
I've always done that.
Right.
But that kind of stuff.
That is true about the chewing gum. It can make you gassy or bloated, especially certain
Yeah.
if they have certain products in it or additives. Is that what we want to
I think
like
so.
the sweeteners?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I've noticed that. But what can we expect from you at the Olympia?
My best.
Your best. What are you wanting to improve up? I know you said posing, but anything
Yeah.
in the physique?
In my physique, I needed to grow my vastus lateralis and my quads a little bit because of my front pose. I wanted to have more I like to pick apart my physique, like very,
No.
very meticulous about it. Every single exercise, every single day I have up until Olympia, I use every single rep is focus on exactly where I want it to grow. And I mean, whether or not it's like you can have that crazy mind muscle connection, just thinking you do, I think gives you that little extra boost. But in my front pose, I want more size in my quads so that my glute doesn't stick out so much and make my legs look small.
Is it bad that your glute sticks out so much? Because
I think I'm not going to shrink my glutes by any
Yeah, I was
means.
gonna
I think
say.
that even bringing up my glute medius probably would be to my benefit. But I think to have the quad sweep to match it would be more aesthetic. Always working on my taper, my waist. And they told me to bring down my upper body a little bit. And
bring it down.
Yeah. So it's small now. At the Arnold's, I think from now to the Arnold, like I just haven't really, I'm using like 5-10 pounds to do upper body. So it's really, you could see that there's a bigger difference in the
Well,
proportions.
I'm just looking at you and you're shred. I mean, the detail in your shoulders and the yeah,
Really?
exactly. Yeah. Oh yeah, just perfect. So let me ask you this: we're gonna see you compete soon, maybe as a warm up.
I love being on stage. And I think the more time I have on stage, the more comfortable I am. And every time I go through a prep, my physique gets a little bit more mature. And I think it improves it. So if I have a couple shows under my belt to Olympia, I'm going to be that many times better. So I know a lot of people have this, oh no, just peak once, do this whole long off season. But for me, I think the way that I've seen my physique progress is doing a few extra shows. So that's probably what I'm going to do.
You diet down, train hard, and supplement smart for months. When the time comes to step on stage, don't leave your tan to chance. Go with the pros. Pro Tan. #1 worldwide since 1987 and the official sponsor of the Olympia for the last 15 years. Don't step on stage without it. Pro Tan.
What would be the first thing you would do if you won the Olympia Wellness title?
What would be the first thing I do?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think it'd be any different than what I did when I got 6, where it's going off stage and seeing my loved ones and hugging them, getting something to eat.
If you was the Miss Olympia Wellness champ, what would you do different? I mean, would you? How do I put this? What would you do as a role model? Would you travel
Yeah.
more? Would you be,
Definitely.
out there and putting?
Absolutely.
Because some people they don't do that. They just
No,
win a title and they go away.
Yeah, I have no intention of going away. This is something that being part of this whole bodybuilding fitness community has really increased my quality of life, and I like to try and help other people too. So I think that having the prestigious title of Miss Olympia gives me the opportunity to reach a lot more people, because people are going to know who you are, and being able to have the ability to travel and help people and
What would you say to people now who we talked about it briefly earlier? They look at our sports and they're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I don't really want to do that because of the people dying and the drugs."
yeah.
What would you say to them?
Well, first of all, always have to have your blood work in check. And that's something that's important. But with that being said, if you have pre-existing health conditions, it doesn't matter if it's bodybuilding or any other sport, you're putting yourself at risk. So it's always good to get physicals and checkups and know yourself. It's always important to know yourself. And then on the other side of that, it's always important to know that the person you're working with, your coach or whoever you're getting your advice with, has not only your best interest in mind, but is educated and knowledgeable. Because I think a lot of times I've seen people work with coaches that just want to get their client on stage and have them look their best no matter what.
Right. Yes.
And they don't care if it's going to cause them to rebound like crazy, mess up their metabolism or hormones or make them sterile. They don't care about that. They just care about getting a title and putting it on their Instagram. And I think it's really important to have people in your corner that care about you. And not to do anything extreme, everything in moderation.
Absolutely. Yeah. So some people think it's always about the extreme and the moderation, but it's not.
Yeah.
So let me ask you another thing. So you also have a business.
I do.
What is the name of your business?
On Season Fitness.
On Season. It's
ZN.
SZN.
Yeah.
As I didn't know how to pronounce that. So tell me what you do for your company.
I have a fitness and nutrition consulting business.
Oh.
So essentially online training, but I've incorporated my medical degree into it where it's sometimes more concierge medicine with fitness, a fitness focus. So I make nutrition plans and workouts, but also we'll review people's blood work.
That's nice.
And then make referrals to other physicians.
Oh,
so
wow.
it's more of a comprehensive health package than it is just someone saying, eat 100 grams of rice and check in with me 2 weeks from now. Like it's pretty much what you would get from your primary care physician and your fitness coach. And then if someone's competing, I do their whole prep in a
Wow.
very detailed way. I like to have a very small amount of clients that are competing at a time so that I can be very on top of them.
Do you have any clients now getting ready to compete?
Yeah, I have about 25 people that are competing in wellness.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Arnold Classic Challenge you did,
Yeah.
those transformations were amazing.
I was very impressed.
Yes.
Very impressed.
Yeah. How long was that for?
6 weeks.
Oh my God, that's great changes.
Yeah.
Because I was looking at some of the pictures, I'm like, oh my gosh, from this to this. And that's all through you just being very detailed and thorough with your athletes.
So those weren't my athletes. That was just a challenge that people.
Oh, so they did on their own.
I made the program. So every single day of the 6 weeks had different training protocols that I wrote. And then I would change the meal plan. So I basically said, what are your goals if you're going to try and gain muscle, stay the same, maintenance, or if you're trying to lose fat? These are the different meal plan options and possible macros. This is how you can change it. And then you can apply that to what your goals are. But they all had the same training for every day. And then there was like an online community where everyone talked, and it was really cool. But
I like that.
it was a great experience.
Yeah.
I really liked it. But then it was just people being accountable and putting the work in. And if I hadn't had people take the photos with the piece of papers,
right.
I would have thought that there was like, oh no, those are like a year apart.
Right.
But I was very impressed.
I like how you did that though. Getting people engaged, you give people hope. Because, a lot of people think, oh, I'm too old, I'm too fat, I've got all these illnesses, I can't do it. But that's not true, is it?
It's not true. And I have seen so many women that I've worked with overcome so many things that people have told them that they're never going to. And it's extremely fulfilling. There's really nothing that I would trade for that. And I've made a lot of friends with people that I've worked with, just because it's like that type of connection is so authentic. It's not something that I could, replace with anything.
And as a doctor, I have to ask you, Dr. Sunny Andrews, with the blood work, when exactly should an athlete have that done?
I always
a
suggest
few times a year, or
I usually encourage people to have it done immediately, like right before we even start working together, just so we can have a baseline. And then if someone is having any type of health issues, then I'll say again, like maybe you should go have a checkup, and then I'll tell them what specifically from their symptoms, what they should go and get done. If someone's competing and they're doing a lot of their protocols are really dramatic, I guess you could say, then it's more likely that they should need it done, like maybe biannually. The problem is a lot of health insurance won't cover.
Right.
So what I've done for a lot of my clients is there's very specific buzzwords you can say that you can have your insurance cover. You have to go to the physician and say, I'm feeling tired, I'm feeling this, I'm feeling that. Then they'll test X, Y, and Z. But if you just go and say, hey, I want a checkup because my fitness coach told me so, they're like, oh, that's going to be out of pocket. There's no indication. So I have kind of like a cheat sheet of
I like that.
yeah, of what you can. And if people are paying, so much money for insurance, they should get the best out of it.
Sonny, how did you, Dr. Sonny, how did they get a hold of you with your coaching program?
Right now, the easiest way is just to DM me on my coaching page, and it's on.szn. That's the handle for my
I love it.
Instagram.
I love that you're all about the health because, again, that is so vital right now. And I think a lot of athletes, I get tired of hearing, we have an athlete pass. Oh, it's because of steroids. A lot of times it's not.
Yeah.
I mean, when can you honestly, what qualifies somebody to even say that? You know what I mean? It's not right. It's
Yeah.
inappropriate.
I think so.
And as a doctor, I mean, for something like that, would you go more off the autopsy? I am just curious. How
Yeah.
do you?
It depends on what the cause of death was.
Right.
And it depends on if someone, for example, I'm not saying anyone's name because I have no idea.
No.
Yeah. If someone passes away, they have a heart attack, they have left ventricular hypertrophy, their heart's really big, they've been lifting for a long time. That can happen just from powerlifting, just from having a lot of pressure constantly going into your left ventricle from lifting a ton of weight over time. That happens almost with all powerlifting people. But if you're also taking anabolic steroids that are causing your muscles to grow and your heart's getting bigger, and I mean, that's going to accelerate that.
Sure.
So if someone dies of a heart attack, but they also have a genetic predisposition for whatever X, Y, and Z, then it's like, who's to say who the culprit is? And they're just going to do the autopsy, and they're not going to like test their blood and say
gotcha.
this is that. Or so they can really only speculate. And then that brings me back to my previous point, where it's just to know your body, know what your limits are, and try and be cognizant of those things. Get your blood work done.
Yeah. Okay. Wanted to ask the expert because and I wanted to, again, I get tired of hearing people say certain things, and it's like they really don't know what they're talking about.
They don't know what they're talking about, and I don't even try and correct them because there's just so much wrong information on the
right,
internet that
right.
it's like there's no point in arguing with someone who has absolutely no medical knowledge, and everyone thinks that because they read something on a blog that has no citations that it's fact. Anyone could write anything on the internet.
Right.
It doesn't mean anything. People get really confused. And being in the hospital, I see people who have passed away from so many different issues. The amount of people that I've seen pass away from healthy bodybuilders is like pretty much zero. But
Right.
the amount of people that I've seen pass away from car accidents, from obesity complications, from surgeries gone wrong, everything you can think of, but I have never seen, and I've seen hundreds and hundreds of people die. But to see someone who was a healthy bodybuilder die, I have not seen that. That doesn't mean it doesn't happen. But it's like people are so scared. It's just, I'm going to say this is not PC, but it's like the coronavirus.
Yeah.
People are so scared of things they're scared of shark attacks.
Right.
People should be scared of the things that are common. Like, people being overweight and dying of diabetes complications happens all the time.
Right.
Happens nonstop. But, that doesn't stop people from going and getting Hungry Howies every other day.
No.
But they're going to, mask up and
Right. Right.
shame
right.
everyone for bodybuilding.
Right. Yes. Yeah. And it's ridiculous how
Yeah.
it is. But yeah, you're right. They do shame everyone for bodybuilding. What can we do, you think? I mean, being a great role model that you are, again, how can we inspire the general public about bodybuilding, that it's a great sport, that's not all this steroids and all these other things?
Yeah.
What do you think we can do?
Lead by example, I think, is the best thing. Share knowledge. I've always tried to stop and talk to people at the gym when they ask me questions. I think it's just an authentic
Oh,
connection.
you don't tell people to get lost?
No, never.
No, you're not that kind?
Yeah.
So in the middle of your set, somebody comes up to you, you're going to be okay with it?
I mean, if I'm
Yes.
I'm not
There
always
we go.
ecstatic
Yeah,
about it,
yeah.
but I will always talk to someone, especially if they have questions. They're in
You're
the same
so
place I'm
sweet.
at.
Yeah.
If someone's in the gym, we're doing the same thing. My
Right.
workout's not any more important than theirs because
Right.
I started, where they were at some point. I had a day one, you know, it doesn't mean that their workout's any less important, but if they have questions, like I wish I had someone I could have asked. I learned through a lot of trial and error, especially being in the Caribbean. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I can't imagine if I had knowledge, but yeah, I think that real life connections, I think, are the best way to go. Having a conversation. The first people that were my clients were my brother and
Oh, really?
my family members, people that I could really connect with and explain stuff to.
Okay, so let's say we're at the Olympia now. It's on. Who are you? I know you probably not gonna tell me. Is there anyone that you're concerned about, or you feel like, okay, this is gonna be my biggest
Rival.
Yeah.
Well, I'd say that there's so many different top contenders that bring so much to the table that I can't look at one person and say she's my biggest problem. I have to say this girl, you know, Issa's posing is
Right.
like, oh, that's or Francielli's posing, or her tie-in, or you know, Angela's glutes, or Urishna's posing and Urishna's size. Like, there's all these different really strong features of these different competitors that I can't just if I focus on one person and I try and beat someone in just posing, I'm going to miss out on
Sure.
not focusing on my glutes. So I look at the big picture, and that's what I mean, where I'm going to bring my best, where I'm seeing everyone I'm competing against. And because it is a sport, you know, people like, don't compare yourself to other people. I think that's true with your progress and stuff. But if you're trying to win, you need to make sure that you beat people almost in everyone else's strengths too.
Absolutely.
So I look at everyone's strengths and make sure that I'm trying to not lose in any of those things.
So you're pretty much telling us you're very hungry for the Olympia title.
Oh yeah, so I'm starving for it.
Yeah. I think you have a very great shot. I really do.
I'm putting everything I have into it this year.
Even
This is what I'm
with
looking
the
for.
Arnold, again, you was my pick to win. I think, you know, you've got a great physique.
Thank you.
What you bring is phenomenal. How do you build those glutes?
It's been a work in progress. I put them through hell.
You're
It is
just
no mistake.
perfect.
I have been working very hard and meticulously on them. So it's not like
You have a
it
glute
happened.
booklet too, right? Or some type of glute
I have lots
training?
of different glute trainings programs that I almost every single time I train. If I like, even last night, I just put it in my notes of like what I did, and if I leave the gym, I'm like, that was solid, or I'm a little sore the next day, or I see, like, I did a check-in today this morning, and I was like, okay, whatever I did last night, that was great. So I'll write that down and make that part of what I did. But I'm always trying to like learn, and everyone's body's a little different too. So what might work for me might not have the same connection for someone else. So I've seen other people, like great coaches, give me glute training, and I'll do it, and I'm like, I didn't even get a pump. You know, like, I can't just do 8 squats and a couple lunges and think that my glutes are going to be insane. I have to do like a really high volume, you know, that kind of stuff.
What's high volume? 100 reps, 50 reps?
It's not so much. So the sets I'll probably do between 12 and 15 sets, trying to, you know, max out around there. But the thing that's the most important, I think, for me is I won't do 4 sets. I try and do like 6 sets of hip thrusts and stuff like that. I do a lot of single leg. I had an asymmetry with my glutes. So to correct that, I did a lot of like single leg exercises.
So you believe that works? That helps?
Oh, it completely transformed my right glute.
You have no idea how many people I mentioned about
Yeah.
doing single, and oh no, that doesn't help. Just do it double. You know, you.
Well, if you also think about this, I think that unilateral limb exercises, no matter what, are always going to burn double the calories. So if someone is trying to work on their conditioning, the best thing they can do is to do single leg, because then not only are you going to have that double the time under tension, it's been proven that your body can lift more weight unilaterally than they can with both. Like if you're going to do 50 pounds on one leg, 50 pounds on the other leg, and then you're going to try and do like you can do like 80 pounds together, for example, instead of doing like 110.
Sure. Right.
So I think it's important. And then you can focus on, is your form the same on both sides? Can you lift the same weight on both sides? Those are really important things to look at when you're trying to have a balanced, symmetrical physique.
Listen, I don't want to keep you long because I know you got to get ready for certain things and whatnot. I would personally, I'm just going to say this. I'm just going to put it in your ear. I would love to see you do the Pittsburgh Pro.
Okay.
because it's a prestigious show. Just saying.
It really is.
I know you're very busy. I know you got a lot of stuff going on. I would also, have you done a TED Talks?
I haven't.
Have you ever thought about it?
I have.
I'm just saying we are so lucky to have you in our sport
And I appreciate
because
that.
you're really a great ambassador, really. I love what you do. I love the positivity. I love the fact that you're a doctor, which is even more, you can open up our eyes and let us know, hey, this is what it really is. Because that's the other thing that's awesome about you is you're very blunt. You tell it like it is.
You have
And
to.
You have to. But some people, as you know,
Yeah.
they don't.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you, and hopefully you have a clothing line out coming soon. I hope with some leggings, because I think you would sell out. But anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. Can you please say anything to your fans out there, your family?
Yeah.
Give us all your social media, your website, everything you can,
Okay.
and your sponsors.
Absolutely. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Saying hi to my family as well, mom, dad, brother, sister. And thank you so much for supporting me and the love. It really means a lot to me. You can follow me on Instagram at Dr. Sunny Andrews, on YouTube at Sunny Andrews, on TikTok at Dr. Sunny Andrews, and my coaching page is on.szn. And if you're looking to work with me one-on-one, you can send me a DM there. And I will also be launching a new program at the beginning of next week. So stay tuned.
There you have it, the fabulous Angelina Jolie of wellness, the most interesting woman in the world, the beautiful, sensational, I'm going to call her wellness queen, why not? Dr. Sunny Andrews. Thank you so much for being on. Until next time, guys.